How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be getting the XJ running. Should be a pretty exciting video, so let's go check it out. So this thing is pretty much ready to turn over at this point, where I left you guys in the last video. We got the engine put in, I showed you. So since then I've hooked up all the wiring harnesses, got everything where it's supposed to be. So the only thing we have to do today yet before we're ready to start it is install the starter real quick. That's only 2 bolts, that won't take long, and add some oil. I'm not going to hook up the cooling system. It'll be fine to run. I just want to see that it runs, you know, just for a few seconds before I put everything together. That way, if there are any problems, it's still pretty easy to access everything. Anything it may be, like a sensor or a wire, something like that. So let me hook up the starter for you guys, and we'll get her cranked. So under here with the starter, we got both our bolts holding it on, and we got both of our electrical connections. So let's head around top. So we'll get the old oil filter off of there, and get the new one on. Fill it with oil. So I do 5 quarts of oil and 1 quart of Lucas, and then we'll be good.
Yes, sir.
And lastly, we'll hook up the battery, and we'll be ready to give it a shot. So now we'll see if this Jeep will finally run. Moment of truth. What's gonna happen? What happened?
Big friggin'.
Well, I didn't do that. So now that we know this thing run, guys, we are pretty much in the clear to put the rest back together and start making it look like a Jeep again. So I got everything laid out. Radiator, cooling lines, transmission cooler lines, our fans, air box, all that stuff, the front clip, and along with the rest of the downstream exhaust, which I'm going to do first because that's pretty much the hardest thing to do. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get the bolts started for these, so we're going to go ahead and do that first. So we got the lower downstream catalytic converter thing hooked up. Pain in the butt as usual with them. So next what we're doing is the transmission cooler lines. They run from the transmission up beneath the oil pan and then to the front where they hook up to the radiator. So before we disconnect what's left of the old lines, I'm gonna try and get the new ones routed up somewhat where they're supposed to be. Got our new lines snapped up down here and routed. So for right now we're done underneath the Jeep. So let's go see what we can do up top. So here's where our trans cooler lines came out right here. So I'd say the next thing to do would be put in the radiator and AC condenser. So by doing that, there's these 2 dowels sticking out on the bottom of the radiator. They go in here onto the body, and then the shroud over there goes over top and bolted in. Radiator is in, looking good. So first we'll hook up the trans cooler lines. The bottom one just snaps into place there to the bottom, and then the other one here will bolt right to there. So I'll get that done. Then over on this side, we have some of the AC lines coming in to the radiator or to the condenser. So now I got everything hooked up. I got all my radiator lines, coolant lines, all good to go. What we're gonna do now is throw some antifreeze in it, and we're gonna fire it up again. And now that the O2 sensors are plugged in and it's got cats and there's cooling, I wanna be able to monitor oil pressure, the engine temp, and see if it actually runs somewhat smoother than it did the first time around. So let's fire it up. All right, we're leaking a little bit of coolant somewhere, but we'll be all right for now. Let's give it a start. Yeah, there's a lot of coolant coming out. Probably that cheap ass, what do you call it? Thermostat gasket. Yeah, that's where it looks like it's coming from. That pisses me off. Well, it sounded pretty good. Let's hit it again. Oil pressure looked good, but it's dying out for some reason. So what's weird to me, despite all the fluids leaking, is when you turn it on and you get it running, it'll go up to like 2,000 to 3,000 RPMs, hold it there for a couple seconds, drop down, and then run real rough and then die. But we'll get all that sorted out over time. I gotta obviously replace that thermostat gasket because that's no good. So it runs, but out of curiosity, I do want to pull the codes from the check engine light. It had a check engine light for something when it died a while ago, but I forget what it was, and I'm sure there's some more now. So we got 3 codes, which is not as many as I thought it would be. A P0, 351, 352, and 353. So what those codes mean, the 51, 52, and 53 is an ignition coil A, B, and C. So I'm assuming, since there's 3 ignition coils, there's 1 for each. So maybe this ignition coil is bad. But I have another one laying over there that we can try later and see if that helps any. But I actually wasn't surprised there weren't any more codes besides them 3. So that, guys, is pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Make sure you stick around. We're going to get this thing running pretty smooth here soon. Then we're going to get the front clip put back together and then start getting it roadworthy. So that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Follow me on Instagram at Jeepin Jimmy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.